Now I can stand here with ease. So what I wanted to talk to you about today was an issue that so many salespeople face. It's moving through your sales timeline, moving through your sales sequence, moving through your pipeline, however you want to put it, with less friction in a more expedient manner to really help you close deals quicker. And what do I mean by that? Well, have you ever been stuck where it comes to follow up and you find that you're following up consistently, but nothing's moving? You're really not moving any further down your pipeline, any further down towards the goal, which is the close. This happens all the time. And, after 27 years in logistics and transportation, I've found, if I'm not overly conscious of it in every single thing I do, it happens. And it's crazy how that happens, but it does. So what I want to share with you today is a simple sequence that you can go through, really more of a singular idea, and to make more conscious so that you can go through every day and really maximize every single interaction with your customers, with your, prospects, and really move through your sales cycle in the most effective and with less friction. Because really, in the end, we all know clients don't want friction, right? Everybody wants ease. They want to move through things slowly, but they want to move through them with ease. They don't want that challenge that comes with, okay, where are we at now and where are you? So what I want to do is we'll switch to the old view here. And what I want you to think about is I want you to think about it like this. So you're here, and the goal obviously is here, which is the customer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference this more along the lines of a cold call. This is your cold sequence, if you will. Okay, so when we reference this to the cold sequence, when we're done, we'll actually address the actual customer sequence as we go through this, because your cold call and your customer sequence are actually two different things. So if you have the customer and you want to generate new lanes or additional business, then that's a little bit of a different sequence, and we'll kind of talk about that after this first one. But I want to talk to you about cold, because cold is really where most of us, prospecting is what happens. It's how we build our business. So how do we get there quicker? So ideally, it's going to look something like this, and it gets to a customer, and you're always wanting to move through this. So the first idea to talk about or to get through is, if this is your cold call, think to yourself, if I was going to do a cold call, the perfect cold call, what would I need to find out on this first call? And what I used to do is I would write down 3 to 4 things that I would want to find out. So when I was on a pure cold call, I would want to find out types of things like volume, why they buy, what are some of the past people they've dealt with, so I know who I'm up against. And then another usual one that I would do, gosh, there were so many of them, but one else that I would do is I would want to do things like really dig into what matters most. See, and if I had these 4 in particular, it sets me up here for a really good conversation. So the trick is, after you come up with 3 to 4 things that you really want established in this particular call, then what happens is you're now moving towards this call. So say this is your second connection. The key is, prior to hanging up the phone here, you want to, 1, establish what day and time this call is, and 2, in your own mind, you want to already have a goal. This is where so many salespeople fall short, is on the second connection. They say, okay, how about I get you some rates and then we can have a conversation again. They never actually set up the day and time. So I use the theory, and I've always gone through my sales process like this. If I do this, will you do that? So the conversation would be, if we even get to the rates conversation on the first call, would be, Mr. Prospect, if I get this to you, we are sitting here at 12 noon on Monday, August 17th. If I get this to you by Tuesday at noon, would you have a chance to review it by, say, Wednesday at 9 a.m.? And if they say yes, I would then immediately say, okay, perfect. can I please get a meeting with you Wednesday at say 9 or 9:30? Which one works for you? We actually open up calendars right then and there, and we go Wednesday at 9 and 9:30. Now, here's the trick to all of this. I actually include the rates in the meeting invite. So I don't just send a meeting invite. When I have the rates done by noon today, for example, I send it in the body of the meeting invite. And I say rates enclosed plus meeting invitation for whatever the date and time is, right in the subject line. Now what happens is, when they accept your meeting, they have a copy of your rates. Because how many times have you gone into a secondary call with a prospect and they said, haven't had a time to look at your rates? Okay, so that's objective one. Now, there's a few things that I want to talk about when it comes into this second call. And the reason being is because a lot of the times the ball's dropped here. You want to, one, connect prior. And I typically do this via text. And I more do it along the lines of, hey, Mr. Prospect, we have our meeting tomorrow and so I'll do this on a Tuesday, for example. Hey, Mr. Prospect, we have our meeting tomorrow at noon. I am really looking forward to discussing all of A, B, C, and D with you. I don't ever say, hey, do you still have time for the meeting? I more bring it back to build that energy and hopefully that excitement of what's to come. Okay. And then the second thing is that we go here. The second thing is your goals. Okay, so say for example that on the second call, your big goal was to say, okay, I want to find out where I'm at with the rates. When you do that, you really should know your entire spectrum. So what's the lowest number you can provide compared to where your rates are? This is key, because if he says something or he or she say something to you like, hey, yeah, everything looks great. We had a great conversation, but your rates are a little high. Would it not make sense to know exactly where you could move prior to saying, okay, let me see what I could do with the rates and I'll call you back? See, because then what's happening is you're increasing that sales timeline. Then what's going to happen? We've all been there before. You're going to call back. They're not going to be available. Something's going to happen. A week's going to go by. You're going to forget to follow up because you've been doing other things, or you got tied up with other things, or something's happened, or a load's gone wrong or something. Now all of a sudden 2 weeks have gone by. You've totally destroyed the momentum you had by setting that goal for the next interaction. And then what happens? It creates friction, because now what you're doing is you're going back to the prospect. You're saying, hey, we had a conversation, 3 weeks ago. And they're going, well, I don't remember the conversation. I've had 19,000 salespeople call me that have offered me zero value in that time. And you're going to get lumped in there. So it's very, very important that you understand the spectrum of the goal you're looking at dealing with. If your goal is to establish rapport, right? We talked about this in last week's live cast. What can you do to connect in the interim before you have that conversation about the next steps? So these are all steps that go together. So then what we want to do is, let's switch that out. Okay. So then what we want to do is, when we are in this particular call, we set our two main goals. Once we accomplish those and we say, okay, we're good, we actually have to have a goal for the next call. Now, here's where, when it comes to this, usually this third, fourth, and I mean, you can add, 10 more calls down the line here, but your third and your fourth, a lot of the times, if the actual prospect is not only focused on money, meaning, it's dollars and cents that wins, it goes beyond the second connection. If they're only focused on money on the second connection, now, this is obviously a few caveats to this. In the background, what it is, meaning what the customer does, how they do it, why they do it. So you choose to deal with them just for money, right? I don't suggest any long-term high-performance business is built on customers just about money, because it's a recipe for disaster. But if you choose to deal with them, it's very simple. My cost is this, your cost was that, there's a delta of $50. We agreed that $50 would be the break. Do we get the business? That would literally be the second conversation. If the answer is no, I move on. Because if his deal is price, this is why he buys, because of price, and I can beat the price and he's not buying, I'm not interested, because he's going to be tire kicking or going back to his incumbent, and I'm not here to keep everybody else honest. I'm here, like I used to say, I'm not in it for practice, I'm in it for profit. And you are too, because if you're selling, this is your income, this is your household, this is your family income, so you have to be in it for profit. I'm not saying pillage everybody you come across. What I am saying is you have to make a profit. So if it gets to the third call because it is based on relationship or it is based on some other aspect other than price, the third call will be fairly simple. I'll establish one, a clear cut goal as to what I want on this call, and I'll actually set it up on this call. So what do we do again? Again, day and time and your goal, right? If you look at the DTG scenario for every one of these and every single interaction you have, you are going to change your business and you're going to move through your sales cycle so much faster than you would if you didn't have it set. The thing that you need to do is be consciously aware of what that goal is and know it. And before you hang up the phone, you set a goal for the next interaction. When you do not have a goal for every single conversation, every single meeting, every single interaction with your prospects and customers, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You're not reaching your full potential and you're corrupting and breaking your sales process, your sales sequence, your sales timeline, whatever you want to call it, your funnel, whatever your word is for it, you're smashing it to the ground and you're not utilizing it to the best of its ability. When you have a specific goal or goals for every interaction you move through. And what do I mean by that? Let's say your third call, you have your goal, right? And we know if we're, say this highway is your sales call, right? How many times do all of a sudden it veers off here? And then you hang up the phone and you say to yourself, I didn't get my questions answered. Or you onboard a customer and the onboarding takes 20 emails to figure it all out because you didn't get it all done or have a checklist of what you needed on the first email just to get it done. How much time and energy does that waste? Not only how much time and energy, we got to go back to putting ourselves in the customer's shoes. And the most important part is zero friction. You're the new kid on the block, if you will. You're the one that's coming in trying to light the world on fire. You can't have friction because you just turn people to go the other way. So if we go back to this and we look and we say, okay, we need to keep them on the highway. So what we need to do is we need to actually turn this back here. And how do we do that? We do that by having your goals and a checklist. So, you can have your thing like this. You could say, okay, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4 goals that I need on this call. And then this call here. So then all you do is you say, okay, I got this one, I got that one. And then you realize your customer's gone off here somewhere. So you say, okay, whoa, Mr. Customer, we really need to bring you back to here. And I got that goal accomplished. Then your last goal should always be the day and time and the goal for the next call. So then your last opportunity is here to set a new day and time and goal. If you focus on this one thing, just being consciously aware of what you want with every interaction. And I'm talking when you email a customer, when you PM somebody, when you introduce yourself, if you're soliciting or if you're prospecting on LinkedIn, very, very clear on what the next objective is or what the objective of that PM is or that connection request is. I can tell you how many connection requests I get, people I speak to get, and they're useless. They don't look at my profile. They don't see anything. I'm getting people asking me about, stuff I'm not even remotely connected to. And obviously that's just a waste of their time. It's a waste of my time. And if there was a remote connection in the future, I'd probably look at it differently and say to myself, I'm not interested because you didn't take the time. So when you're sending a PM, when you're sending an email, when you're making a phone call, a meeting, always, I can't stress this enough, have a goal. Have a ironclad, crystal clear reason and something you want to accomplish. I hope this serves you. I hope this quick routine and this quick kind of process and framework helps you move through your sales cycle quicker. And remember, I want to make sure everybody knows the 28-day challenge starts Monday next week, the 24th at 9 a.m. 28 days, we are going to go through a step-by-step, pretty much paint by the numbers process to build a foundation you can scale any size of business on. We go back to, and I say it all the time when it comes to the 28-day challenge, we are going to build a foundation you could put a skyscraper on. the foundation is almost more important than the actual building, because you can close any account and any deal. And if you don't have a foundation to structurally house it, you're done. Until next time, my friends, remember, go out there, make every call educational, and crush your sales. And don't forget, head over to dandeegan.com and check out the 28-day challenge and register. There's over $1,700 in bonuses. You are going to love it. We'll see you later. Take care.